Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Previously, Ryunosuke realized that the victim, one Dr. Wilson, must have already been dead before he was even shot in the heart. He realized that it must be poison, because how else could Wilson get that burn mark on his wrist without screaming in pain and alerting everyone in the restaurant? No, it must be poison that suddenly killed him well before the gunshot. However, the would-be perpetrator, one Giselle Brett, countered that, well, there was no poison found in the bottle of carbonated water that they were drinking. So just when all hope seemed lost, one Susato Mikitoba burst through the door. She apparently got something from the academy, Yume Academy, where Wilson was teaching, and there must be some pivotal clue she has to present, so let's get going here. But not before I first say, you may have already realized it, I found out a way to lower the game's audio, so hopefully my voice and the game music will be much better. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom?
A judicial assistant, and a woman no less. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Oh, he would say females.
Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency... I am most grateful.
On the subject of Susato, I looked up the original Japanese name for Maya Fey, and, well, the Fey family. That would be Ayasato. Not Fey, but Ayasato, and, well, there's certainly a resemblance between Susato, which is her first name, and Ayasato, which is the surname of Maya and Mia and all the rest. Definitely a similarity, but not a concrete connection. So I think we can say that this girl here is not a spirit medium, which is nice. Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something, written in English.
It's Giselle Brett's research.
The Englishwoman's?
After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case?
I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Oh, no, of course not. Special characteristics of curare and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. I assume that's a Japanese word? Maybe? Curare? What's that? I've never heard that word before. Or it could be English, I don't know.
Time's up. The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom. There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it.
This is wonderful. Thank you. Giselle's report has been entered into the court record.
Goodbye, then, and good luck.
Now, let's take a look-see. A poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full-body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Right. Well, this just single-handedly solved this case. Clearly, it entered into the carbonated water, Wilson drank it, and the poison entered his body through the wound in his mouth. He just had a tooth removed. Well, that was easy.
You have had long enough, Counsel. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence.
That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Well, Miss Brett?
Yes, Your Excellency?
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have to politely decline.
Forgive me, Miss Brett, it seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question, however, I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
My apologies, dear lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention?
Take a look at my badge. No.
Yes!
Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at Yume University, doing research. Oh, yeah, also, Yume University. Someone on my Discord told me, now that Part 1's gone live, in the original Japanese version of Trials and Tribulations, the third Ace Attorney game, that's where Phoenix was said to have gone to university. But, of course, for the English version, they translated it as Ivy University. Because God forbid there be anything Japanese in this Japanifornian game. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison.
What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel?
A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Since it's South American, it's probably... Look, I don't know how to pronounce that. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death.
Objection!
What? What complete and utter nonsense! Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before, for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they'd never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order, order, order. Council, does this deadly poison truly exist?
According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, Curare has long since been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle. It was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with curare suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Objection!
Trumpery. These aspersions are utter trumpery.
You would say trumpery.
To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector?
Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that curare was used.
Explain yourself, Counsel.
The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. And the full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. Damn, that is grisly. You know, I want to say that, like, every murder in this entire franchise this far has been instantaneous or very rapid. Like, sure, maybe someone was shot and then spent a few seconds gasping in pain before kicking the bucket. But this is just genuinely messed up. Wow.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. For the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. Not to mention the burn on his wrist. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison.
And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison?
Objection!
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing. What a happy tale for the defense. If I may. All these facts? You think you're so clever. It is you who must be taught. Of course.
Wait, I should see what that said.
But you must be taught some manner.
Oh yeah, it is you who must be taught.
Dear lady.
So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act. Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual. Whatever do you mean? Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime. That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Objection!
Enough of this. I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
What's so funny? Oh, excuse me, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
She's about to chug it, isn't she? Well, yes, I don't see, why not? She's about to chug it. Oh, I guess a lady as refined as her needs a glass.
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Damn. Sorry?
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy.
Wait, isn't
Britain an island too? Well, your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers! Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair. Goodness, whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
Check the notes. Maybe there's something about it having a short half-life. Or shelf life, maybe. Half-life's uranium's life, I think. So, no Curare. The bottle was clean, is that what you're saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course, that's the simple truth. Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind.
There.
Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett?
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you have given. This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how? How did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose, if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London.
There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? There
can't have been, because otherwise she would have been killed off or dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. Bottle of water. We have all the clues, huh? The water was shared between Brett and the victim. And there was nothing in the journal talking about a shelf life for the poison. Therefore, only when you eliminate the impossible, whatever's left must be the truth. Sure, the bottle contains no poison, but it didn't have to. As I thought, there is no poison in that bottle. What? Why, Ryunosuke? Isn't it obvious? If there was poison in there, she'd be dead by now. Sometimes your unadulterated naivety really astounds me, huh? But sometimes it's in need of a good staining, till it's as dark as your uniform in the ways of the world. Oh, is that what this color is supposed to represent?
That was a guileless ending to a promising line of inquiry. Counsel, for which you will be penalized.
Huh? But they just slipped the poison into the other glass. Ah.
This whole trial is poisoned. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Sure contains poison? The culprit did put Curare poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious.
Objection!
Fool, are you blind? There is no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw.
Miss Brett drinking the water from it. Oh. I just had an idea. The poison's not in the water. It's in the bottle. It's not in the water, it's in the bottle. You just put a little dab on the inside of the rim, and depending on which way you hold the bottle while it's poured, the water could pour out cleanly, or it could pour out tainted by the poison. Maybe?
That's right, which rather complicates your argument, I think.
And I believe that complication can be explained.
How exactly?
We need to think through all the things that don't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court records somewhere. It has to be.
Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume the supposedly poisoned water unscathed?
Oh, I'm such a goddamn idiot. It needs to enter a wound. She doesn't have any wounds. I mean, by all means, it should be absorbed into her body through her stomach and intestines, but... oh, come on, man. I'm such a dunce. Well, it should be the report itself, no? Let's see. It enters the body through a wound. Only through the wound. So this should be it.
Yes!
The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
Objection!
That's not a valid explanation.
No?
After all, we don't speak English. The report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Susato-san's notes.
I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle?
Characteristics. We've been hearing a lot about this Curare poison. And it's left me curious about something.
Oh, Counsel?
Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years. To lace the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting.
So we've been led to believe, yes.
And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these laced arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat? Yes, good point. So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison.
Good gracious, Counsel. No, that would be madness.
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense.
Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Curare enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Brett, you authored this research. You knew Curare's special characteristics. And you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself.
You meddling little...
I knew it.
rapscallion?
I knew it. This is not the first time that someone wearing a dead animal has proven that the animal's actually alive. Well, Ryunosuke, turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be. Really? Me? A lawyer?
Objection!
All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure. But I fail to see how it possibly... So, the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with, some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly.
How did her mask grow? What are you trying to say?
Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw.
Schoolboyish? Flaw?
As even your brain has managed to deduce, Curare is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus.
Succus. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they?
So if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
Ah,
That's right.
Good gracious.
That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no?
Order? Order in the court, order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drink the same poison, they would be affected in the same way. Are you trying to suggest?
Yes, this Curare poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial. That's right. Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that.
what is this? Welling up inside me. I've never felt like this before. It's a sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
Objection!
Hell yeah. I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett.
How dare you use that tone with me?
You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. I love how she's holding the mask in front of her face and at a distance to make her eyes look bigger.
Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you, you must provide compelling evidence. As we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the Curare?
He visited the dentist. He didn't floss, so he bled a lot, probably.
Take that!
Wow, that voice. As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners.
A fatal difference.
The toxic effects of Curare are only felt when the poison enters the body through an opened wound. So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But what if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example.
Oh.
Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. Use that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing?
I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are all so puerile.
What do you mean?
Don't worry, little schoolboy, you'll find out soon enough. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it.
No.
I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed.
I mean... I mean that she may as well have just said, yeah, I'm guilty. Let me destroy this so you can't prove it was me. Why would an innocent person do that?
Officer, what are you waiting for? Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible at once.
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you it will soak up the water beautifully.
So, wring it out.
You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it.
How could you? You won't get away with this.
You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy. But I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle, or not?
I mean, if I was that judge, I'd just sentence her for disrespecting this court so much. Like, destroying evidence is surely a crime, right?
And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution?
Oh, of course, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady?
That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So of course the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy.
Objection!
No, you killed the victim that day, using Curaire. And then, in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime, you waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor, before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Then, in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit the crime.
What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? We had her. But now, is she really going to get away with it?
The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Ryunosuke. Yes? You've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it.
What? What do you mean?
You've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, it must be in your head.
In my head?
You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon.
Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head.
So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. What I saw, what I felt. Every color. Ooh. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? There's a clue! Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on then, let's wipe that smug smile off that Englishwoman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. It's been upsetting me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. I don't like saying that word, it's adjacent. You know what to. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. It's here somewhere, that clue that shows who Dr. Wilson's real killer must have been is... the fork. No, it's this weird blood. Or ketchup?
Take that!
Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes, what is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day.
Objection!
Wait a minute, where are you going Where are you going with this, little boy?
It's just a memory that's been troubling me.
What memory?
I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on was a spattering of blood.
What? Oh, really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor.
No, that can't be the case. Oh, I see where we're going with this now. Oh, that's clever. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him.
How?
Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite the professor, as you were, Giselle Brett.
I beg your pardon?
Objection!
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something like the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
Hold it!
Hosonaga? This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate, in the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now.
Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately.
Yes, sir. Sorry for the delay. Here was what you ordered, the steak. Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it?
Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector, the blood man, show the court.
Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure. No. No blood. No blood anywhere. But no, that's impossible! I know I saw it, I'm sure of it. It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate.
What an unbecoming expression, little boy. You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you. Ugh. Tisk, I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial.
Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly. If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination?
Let's find out. Let's look at it in detail.
Huh?
This is the sergeant's steak, not the doctor's steak. What in the world is this? I think it's a Koban coin. The hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it? I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. Imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a Hoei Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but never heard of bullion before bullion.
Oh my god. That's a good pun.
And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, though. This means... I certainly never expected to find a precious coin underneath this thick cut of meat. And it's from the Hoei area, too. That would make it really quite valuable. It's well marinated in the juices as well, look. What, are you thinking of eating it? No, but the next time I order a steak in my expensive restaurant, one thing's for sure. My heart's going to be racing as I lift up the meat and peer underneath for a prize. I think you might have the wrong end of the stick about this, Ryunosuke. Koban coin underneath this steak. There's only one logical explanation. This is it now. I've lost. Ryunosuke. It's not over yet, not until the final gavel. Huh? Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward, no matter what. Believe in myself? Really? Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. Yes.
As the evidence requested by the defense has not been shown to be problematic in any way, I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. Does the defense have any objection?
That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? There's another clue. Your Excellency, please, wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth.
Objection!
The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with a beefsteak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial.
I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled.
I see, as a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it?
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely on this plate of beefsteak is this new clue to be found?
Directly under it? I need to lift it up. But you already read this, so... I do like that they show the profiles, or the portraits for the characters. And it's not 3D models either, it's their 2D art. It's nice. Now we need to look at this coin.
Got it!
Good gracious, that's...
Koban? What on earth?
A Hoei-era one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat?
Shut up!
What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
Objection!
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Objection!
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak? This turns out to be irrelevant to the case. I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right. It can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency.
Yes, counsel.
A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now.
Objection!
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up!
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant.
Even though I'm the one on trial here? The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what is doing under the steak.
The owner?
Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... the curio collector, Curio Kurikuta. Yeah, someone on Discord also... Is it called Discord? Yeah. Someone on Discord also told me that, yeah, Kurikuta, it's Kurikuta. As in collector, it's a pun.
Take that!
Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and owner of Rasute, Curio Kurikuta-san. Curie, as in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable.
Ah, yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct?
Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with this koban coin when it happened. Did I just get the hiccups? Uh-oh. Not good. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the Hoei-era koban, my prized coin.
Then this Hoei-era koban, do you mean to tell me?
Attention!
No, please. Why would Kurikuta-san's koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Yes!
Which is why I'm asking to bring Kurikuta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him.
Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay.
I can't believe we've come back round to that pair again. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this koban, we'll find that it's a key element in the case.
What's this all about? Why, I've been called up again.
Right. I genuinely cannot believe how long this tutorial case is going. It is so long. It may as well be a full case, a full full on? No. There's a word that's escaping, but I'll just say it may as well be a full course meal. So at long last, I think I finally have an inkling of what truly happened. Yes sir, no sir, or Iasanosa was trying to buy the coin from Curio Kurikuta, and Nosa must have swiped the coin, hid it under the steak he was eating, and then Giselle, after shooting dead Wilson, turned him around in his chair and then swapped the steak plate with a table next to her. Nosa was also eating steak just as Wilson was, so the swap was made, and no one noticed in the confusion. Meaning that when Hosonaga swiped the plates for stealing from the crime scene in the name of preservation of the evidence, he was actually correct in thinking that what he presented just now was the plate Wilson was eating from. But no, Giselle made the swap earlier. So we should be asking Hosonaga to produce the plate that Nosa was eating from. But in truth, that would be Wilson's actual plate and there would be actual blood on it. You know, for a case that doesn't even have a single investigation phase to it, this is marvelously, wondrously complex. Though I do think it's pretty goddamn bullshit that the judge did not penalize Giselle in any way, shape, or form for destroying evidence right in front of everyone. I'm like, come on, dude. But hey, they wrote it that way so we could get to this cool bit here with a plate swap and everything, and Ryunosuke may embody a dragon, but boy, I gotta say, Phoenix is such a much more accurate name for the character. Rising from the ashes, reborn from the impossible odds. It fits way more. Though, I guess you could say that Japanese dragons are supposed to be, like, immortal and all that, but who knows. There's probably going to be a bit more cross-examinations and pressing, and with 4 people on the stand, or 5 if you include the baby, we'll have more chances to interject and catch people in their thoughts while others' testimonies are going down, with the reactions and all that. God, I still am so glad that they carried that gameplay mechanic forward from the crossover game. It's such a great idea. I love it. Though hopefully this game doesn't go for like 10 witnesses at once like last time. Oh my good lord, I'm still reeling from that. Oh my god. Anyway, hopefully, yeah, what with me reducing the volume of this application straight up from my PC settings, hopefully that solution is worked out. I'll be able to look at this video after I finish recording here, and I can fine-tune it a bit more. Maybe it might be a bit too quiet right now, maybe it's still a bit louder than I like. We'll refine it. We'll refine it over time, but I'm just glad that I won't have to, like, speak louder than usually would to speak over the game like I did for parts 1 through 4. So yeah, next time, maybe, hopefully we'll finish this intro and then we can actually get a real taste of what this game's properly gonna be like. Are we gonna stay in Japan? Are we going straight to Britain? What's gonna happen? I don't know. Anyway, I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.